Understanding the map of the Warhammer 40,000 universe is much easier than most people think, and that's because the setting of 40K takes place in our very own Milky Way galaxy, and the narrative of the game follows humanity. Therefore, everything can be mapped out according to its location from humanity's homeworld of Terra, our current-day Earth. Today we will be navigating through the Milky Way galaxy and showcasing some of the very important locations, not just to the Imperium of Man, but to most of the major players in the galaxy. Let's start by locating Terra. The majority of the maps will always depict Terra to the center left of the galaxy's core. When the Imperium of Man launched into the stars, they began to map out space according to its location from Holy Terra. They divided the galaxy into 5 separate sections, known as Segmentum Majoris. There is the central segmentum, known as the Segmentum Solar. There is the northern segmentum, known as the Segmentum Obscurus, the southern segmentum, known as Segmentum Tempestus, the eastern segmentum, known as the Segmentum Ultima, and finally, the western segmentum, known as the Segmentum Pacificus. These boundaries are only respected by the Imperium of Man. All other races have divided up the galaxy in their own unique way, but for the sake of universal understanding, Games Workshop uses these divisions to explain the locations of major battles, planets, and space phenomena for every single race. And while it seems it would be easier to have the core of our galaxy be the actual origin on the map, the bias towards humanity moves the origin to Holy Terra. So let's dive into this artificial central location on the 40K map, the Segmentum Solar. Similar to all segmentums, the Segmentum Solar is further divided into sectors. These are regions of space that are typically 7 million cubic light years, but depending on the density of resources, these sectors can be larger or smaller. The majority of sectors have been divided even further into subsectors. These are comprised of 2 to 8 star systems. The most important sector in the Segmentum Solar, and arguably the entirety of the galaxy, is the Sol sector, because within the Sol sector is our solar system, the heart of the Imperium of Man. Terra, Mars, Titan, and the Phalanx are the most important locations in the Sol system. Terra is obviously the home to the God Emperor. His golden throne sits at the center of Terra, and also the High Lords of Terra govern from that location. Mars is the homeworld of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Titan is actually home to the Grey Knights Fortress Monastery, and the Phalanx is actually orbiting in the Sol system. It is the Imperial Fist Chapter's Battle Fortress, but there are also dozens of other very important locations within this system. I have a series of videos that go into detail on some of the most important locations, and also just the Sol system in a broad sense. From Mercury all the way to Pluto, I have videos that showcase in detail each individual portion of the Sol system. I'll link it down in the description below. If we zoom back out into the Segmentum Solar, another notable location is the Armageddon sector, to the galactic north of the Segmentum. This location is important because it is the home of the planet of Armageddon, where the Orcs, once led by Godskull Magor Thraka, are still waging war against the Imperium. And it is the location of the once ancient Orc Olenor Empire that was destroyed by the Emperor and all of his Primarchs during the Great Crusade. North of the Armageddon sector is a small portion of the Fenris System. This teetered between the edge of the Segmentum Solar and the Segmentum Obscurus. This area is patrolled by the Space Wolves chapter, but the majority of their domain is in the Segmentum Obscurus. East of Armageddon and the Fenris System is the Elysia System, a region of space home to the Elysian Drop Troops, one of the Astra Militarim's elite drop infantry regiments. East of the Elysia System, spilling over the boundaries between the Ultima Segmentum and the Segmentum Solar, is the Prospero System, home of the now quarantined planet of Prospero, although the orbit of the homeworld of the Primarch Magnus the Red mostly stays within the boundaries of the Segmentum Ultima. To the south of the Elysia System is the planet of Nicaea, where the Emperor held the Council of Nicaea and passed judgment during the Great Crusade. This judgment would obviously ban the use of psychic powers and ultimately lead to the Horus Heresy. Deep in the Segmentum Solar southern region is one of the Imperium's most famous hive worlds, Necromunda. Serving as one of the primary settings for the skirmish game of the same name, the planet is ubiquitous with the grimdark gang battles that take place all throughout the hive cities of Necromunda. Southwest of Terra and the Segmentum Solar, in an unmarked and mysterious region, are the remains of a planet that seem to be broken up into chunks. This is what remains of Horus Lupercal's homeworld of Chthoniya. Few people have knowledge of this exact location, for it is a forbidden place. The rest of the western region of the Segmentum Solar is populated with scattered Imperial Worlds. These planets are strong enough to wage wars against the ever-growing threats of Wazdaka, the Speed Freak warlord, and the Ubdabek Necron dynasty that is slowly spilling over from the Segmentum Pacificus. Unbeknownst to the Imperium, the shrine world of Morai Heg is also in this region. The shrine is in fact a webway gate used by the Eldar race. If we jump on over to the Segmentum Pacificus, the Imperial headquarters in this region is the Forge World of Hydrafer, to the northeast of the Segmentum. It is sharing space with the patrolling craft world of Saimhan, and the Necron dynasties of the Sarnek and the Thocht. But the Segmentum is further reinforced by crusading fleets of the Black Templars. There are also a lot of pilgrims in this area because they seek to protect the shrine world of Macaria, the homeworld of the Lord Commander Solard Macarius, who famously pacified the region of space during the Macarian Crusade. They are more to the south of Hydrafer, and most of them have to contest with the newly awakened tomb world of Nervacor. In the northern borders of the Segmentum Pacificus was the homeworld of the Primarch Lorgar and his wordbearer Strader Legion. Unfortunately, the planet of Colchis underwent exterminatus by the Inquisition and has since been removed in most Imperial maps. Situated along the rimward portion of the Segmentum Pacificus is the Sabbat World sector. This area was pacified in the 35th millennium by Warmaster Slido and then the Warmaster Macroth in a 45-year-long Imperial crusade. It was mainly fought against the forces of chaos, and it culminated in an Imperial victory thanks to the miracle of Saint Sabbat, who inspired the naming of the sector. For more details, check out our video on the Sabbat World Crusade and the story of Saint Sabbat, link in the description. In that same sector can be found the legendary planet of Tanith, homeworld of the Tanith First and Only. The western part of the Segmentum Pacificus is plagued by revolts, uprisings, and unmapped regions. Traveling further west is filled with extreme risk, as the light of the Astronomicon cannot reach this area. It is here, in the western reaches, that the 7th Blackstone Fortress was recently discovered. And finally, somewhere between the south of the Segmentum Pacificus and the northwest border of the Segmentum Tempestus is a webway gate that leads to the dark city of Camera inside the webway. Jumping down to the galactic south is the Segmentum Tempestus. This region of space is home to the Imperial Segmentum capital of Bacca, where Battlefleet Tempestus is located. The Segmentum is also home to the planet of Krieg, home of the Death Corps of Krieg. On the opposite side of the northern region is another home planet of a famous Imperial Guard regiment, Talaran, home to the Talaran Desert Raiders. The Segmentum Tempestus is home to a large amount of Forge Worlds, and as such a strong presence from the Adeptus Mechanicus. Luckily, the Segmentum does not suffer from as many chaotic incursions as other regions of space, but their main threat is the alien. Creeping out of the Veiled region in the Segmentum South are the tendrils of High Fleet Leviathan and High Fleet Hydra, the Necron tomb world of Kier, or Ryza as the Imperials call it, and Akator also plague the southern regions, as well as the Agdagoth dynasty to the Segmentum East. Near the southeast corner of the Segmentum is another webway gate that acts as the entrance to the Drukhari city of Kamara, although the center of the Segmentum is patrolled by the craft world of Bael'tan. Luckily, the homeworld of the Raven Guard chapter, the planet of Deliverance, and the Sisters of Battle's Convent Sanctorum on Ophelia 7 stand sentinel over the region. Now that leaves us with two other Segmentums, the Segmentum Obscurus and the Ultima Segmentum. As you guys can see from the map, these two Segmentums are significantly larger than the three that we just talked about. The Segmentum Obscurus has the Eye of Terror, so there is even more details in there, and then the Ultima Segmentum, on top of having the core of the Secretus Maledictum that basically split the entire Ultima Segmentum and the northern part of the galaxy in two, it has so much detail that requires a video all on their own. I hope you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, that way you can get that video. We're probably going to post the Segmentum Obscurus by the end of the week, and obviously I hope you enjoyed this video. So if you guys have any other suggestions, if you guys think that I missed anything important in any of the previous Segmentums, please let me know in the comment section below. I will gladly do a standalone video if you guys want more details of a specific sector, planet, or military campaign. And feel free to click down in the description below so you can check out the videos that I talked about where we go in depth into different sectors of the galaxy. I hope you guys are enjoying our content. Thank you for listening. Thank our patrons. It is because of our patrons that we can do these videos. Link in the description if you guys want to support us. But with that said, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. This was Gershwan with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.